And with you bringing that up, I'm going to move over to my first guy that I want to talk about, and that is his teammate Chase Young, the edge rusher out of Ohio State. So keeping it with the Buckeyes. So Chase Young, 6'5", 264. So he's on the smaller end for a rusher. He played both sides, left and right. That's a lot of these rushers nowadays. They move all over the line. He even lined kind of on the inside a little bit once or twice from the stuff I was watching from some of the tape. So he'll line up right, straight across from everything. In 2019, he had 32 tackles by himself, 16 and a half sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 3 passes defended. The year before, he had 10 and a half sacks. He had 1 forced fumble, 5 passes defended. So he's out there, he's running around, and this guy is. A lot of people are saying, he's a can't miss prospect. And he's coming from a long line of guys that have done really well. You look at the Bosa brothers. They both came out of
outstanding
out of Ohio State, and both of them have been awesome. How can you? I get the luxury of watching Joey Bosa play, every Sunday, and the guy is ridiculous. And he was, relentless. So that's one of the issues I have with Chase Young. With Joey Bosa, the only issue I had with Joey Bosa coming out of college, I thought I liked him a lot. But the one issue I did have with him was, he's a lot of effort, and he really tries hard. And at some point,
high motor.
Yeah, and at some point, does that work in the NFL if you don't have the skill? And I obviously thought Joey Bosa had skills still, but I thought well, does he have does a high motor make you have relentlessness in college? Does that push him over the edge? But when he gets to the NFL, that's how a lot of guys play. So one of my issues with Chase Young is that once in a while he just takes the play off. Like if it's a run to the left side and he's on the right side, forget about it. Like he's not trying to chase that guy down to see if he can get in the play. It's mostly, a lot of it's on run plays, but even on quick passes out to the opposite side of him, even on his side, he's just like, okay, nope, somebody else will make the tackle. And that's not going to work in the NFL. And, maybe it's something that can get coached up by, they're saying he's going to go to the Redskins, number 2 overall. But that was the main thing that I saw. That was just, it's frustrating.
For Rivera, you're going to play, or you're going to sit on the bench. Because I'll tell you one thing, Rivera gets the best of those players. And if you don't play hard for him, you're not going to play. That goes. He's he's not like a Belichick, but you know what I mean.
But
I've got big time respect for him.
But he expects a lot out of his players. So,
right.
Like I said, just when you see it, that'd be my big thing coming out from, like I said, you see the Bosa brothers and what they did at Ohio State, but those guys are just like you said, like they don't stop. Until the whistle blows, they're chasing somebody, and because of that, you see a lot of they get a lot of sacks because they just didn't stop.
I'm not calling your boy Bosa. I'm not calling him JJ Watt. But when I first when they first started showing him coming out of college, you know what I mean, before he was drafted, that was the first thing I saw when they say big motor.
Yeah.
You first think JJ Watt. Now, unfortunately, he's pretty good still, but he's been slowed by injuries. But he had a pretty good year this year when he actually was on the field. Thank fuck. Anyways, but Bosa too. I'm a huge Bosa fan, and I'm not a big chart. I like your team.
Yeah.
Always did. LT, boy. Shout out to LT.
There you go, my boy.
Getting her done. Oh, man. I miss LT. But anyways, I like Chase. I think he's quick as hell. He gets in the backfield, and people don't give him enough credit for his run game, too, to stop the run.
Yeah, I found he was good. He was decent in it. What?
He gets a lot of big games. They talked about he didn't have great numbers. Yeah, but if you watch the tape, he was in the backfield and causing havoc with the offense. You have to give enough credit for that.
And maybe other games. I watched the Clemson game, and one of my notes is kind of like he just got eliminated in that game. Like he just you know,
They
they
ran
had
away
they
from him, played away from him.
they yeah. Well, no, even him, like the left tackle, like I said, he plays on the right side a lot, and I think that's probably where he'll try to play the most in when it comes to the next level. But he plays on the right, you know, right end usually. You know, he was getting essentially just the left tackle was just handling him, which you don't see very often. You watch the tape against Wisconsin and a couple other games, you know, he was just beating guys left, right, and center. And maybe he was hurt. Maybe he was nicked up. Maybe that's part of it. But he was just not getting there. And like I said, that's part of the, you know, you got to keep on going. You got to keep on fighting. You know, you got to battle through blocks. You got to do, you know, do whatever you can. So they end up switching him over to the other side, the left side, and he still didn't have a whole lot of luck. He had the one or two kind of ones that he got there a little bit, but he never got to Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he ever knocked Trevor Lawrence down. So he didn't even have.
But Clemson on that point too, though. You know, Clemson, they move the ball. Trevor Lawrence does not hold on to the ball at all.
No, and Trevor's it's
out quick.
The guy, if he came out this year, he'd probably be the first overall pick, right? Like he's going to be the first overall pick next year. So
he's a stud.
You know, it's one of those things. I said to go on the good side of it. Like I said, I didn't mean to like just bash on him, but that was the only thing I had as an issue. And like I said, when I can compare it to another player that I get to watch all the time, that was it. And like I said, it's a frustrating thing because if he tunes that up and if he becomes every down gives 110%, and maybe he's saving it, right? You know, look, I don't want to go run over there.
I don't know. I think
you're out there.
Hands down the best edge rusher in this class.
Oh, 100%. So when you get into the actual thing, so his first step is ridiculous. He has the bend. You know, he's got that Von Miller. He's got, you know,
he looks like a guy out of the track boot. You know what I mean? Like when he takes off.
Yeah, and because he gets going and he gets around the edge quickly. Like a lot of these offensive linemen can't even, you know, kick out as fast. You know,
he comes out so low of his stance too. It's just unreal.
And a lot of times when he comes out, he gets that first step, and then he's got a hand. He's got a hand on you, right? So as soon as he gets out, he's kind of giving that punch to the hand out. So the lineman's got to figure out what he's doing, and he kind of uses the rush outside kind of to set up the inside rush, which is what obviously a lot of these guys do. But he's got good hands. You know, they could probably improve a little bit, but he's still got.
Hey, everybody can improve their technique, right? That's why they're professionals.
And that's why these guys are coming out of college, right? So nobody
exactly.
And he's got that raw talent. You know, on top of obviously putting up, 16.5 sacks, 10.5 last year, he's got all this raw talent, all this, crazy, measurables and everything else. But then he's still doing it, but you can see that there's still on top of that, like there's still that next little bit to go. Like I said, he could
another gear, another level.
He could work on his, like I said, the run blocking or his, getting off the run block. He could work off that. But if you just say like, look, Chase, go out. All I want you to do is go get the quarterback. Or if it's like, look, Chase, we're up by a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and we know that they're going to be throwing here for the next 7 minutes. That's the guy you want on your side because there's nobody else in this draft class that has that explosive to get after the quarterback. Like I said, have to wait to see how he does against the rush, especially in the NFL. A lot of these, every tackle is good in the NFL, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. I watched the Chargers. We didn't have good tackles.
They all can't be studs, bro. That's how that works.
Nope. They all played college at some point, right?
And even a stud too. You know what I mean? Struggles on the odd day in football.
It is what it is. But like I said, he's just got a lot of things going for him. Like I said, the only issue I had was that, like I said, the effort sometimes. Like I said, if he thinks he's out of the play, he's out of the play in his mind, and so he's either walking or he's just.
So you'd like to see a little more effort all around, like never give up on a play.
Exactly. Like I said, I've watched.
I remember we were talking last time. So you're basically saying he doesn't all the time play whistle to whistle, and I'm a firm believer. You got to have a guy that wants to play. Well, I'm a big believer in play until you hear the whistle. Yep. And that's exactly what you're saying. He doesn't do that every play,
and obviously,
which is a sin.
And obviously, it's harder, right? Like you're gonna get tired. We're tired because you're chasing guys for no reason, right? But you never know what can happen. At any point in time,
never give up on a play, man.
A fumble could happen, and all of a sudden you're 5 yards closer. all of a sudden you can pick up that fumble and go the other way. You know, the more numbers you have, the more numbers you have, or you could just break the, you know, the receiver or the running back could just break a tackle, right? Like we've all seen it. It's football. You know, that's what these guys are out there to do.
Weird things happen.
But like I said, I think he's, unless somebody trades up for a quarterback like Tua or another quarterback, I think you're gonna see him go second overall. Or like I said,
so I'll pose you this question. I think that too. I really think Washington would be dumb to not take him there. Yeah. But do you think Washington trades out, or do you think Washington takes a quarterback?
I don't think they take quarterback, but I think that if it's anything, I think they trade out. But like I said, I don't think it's if they thought about changing quarterbacks, if they said like screw it, we want Tua. Dwayne Haskins was the old regime, right? Like that's not Ron Rivera's guy, and you know, Dwayne Haskins didn't put up good numbers. Now didn't
get a lot of opportunity.
No, but
I will say that
the opportunities he did get, he didn't look great.
He didn't look great. Yeah, so, I totally agree. But I think that's one of those cases, like I've said before, and I preach all the time. He shouldn't have got a snap last year. He would have been better off if this year was the year. Yeah. That's the way I feel. See, that's why I hate so much change when you fire coaches, GMs, and jump the gun and don't give them.
The thing
didn't they had Jay there, wasn't
it? Yeah, Jay there. Yeah, Jay was there for 10 years.
Well, Jay's been there for a long time.
So that was enough time for them to finally say, look, we're making a change. But it's hard to say. But like I said, Chase Young's for sure going to be the first rusher, edge rusher off the board. And I think he's the first.
I hate to agree with you, but
I think he's the first non-quarterback off the board too. It'd be interesting to see what Detroit does if for some reason somebody trades up, and he's just sitting there. Do they?
I thought about this. Like Detroit, if they stay at 3, I'll be disappointed if they don't take a defensive player because they need help on that side of the ball. But if they do trade down, there's lots of good players, and they better get some picks.
Yeah, I'd almost wait. It's one of those things that I think they would, but I think they wait right to see until what Washington does. And then if Washington, stays there and takes Chase Young, if you think if it's the Dolphins or it's the Chargers moving up, which I think we both talked about, I think it's the Dolphins more likely to trade up than anything. It's, the Lions would almost be stupid not to trade back. Okuda's chances are going to be there unless the Giants take him, which I think they're more in the mode right now of let's get an offensive tackle or something like that. Something to help out our quarterback of the future and our running back, our star prize running back. So, they'd almost be stupid not to trade back, but it is what it is. Like I said, there's essentially right now, if you just left everybody where they are, if it was just, look, no trades, Bengals won, take Burrow. I think at that point, Redskins take Chase Young, and then Okudah goes 3 to the Lions. So it's will be interesting. So